Now?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Who do we have? Do we have a quorum?
Not from what I see, no.
Okay.
You want to call meeting to order, and then I can do roll call.
Yes, I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Economic Development Advisory Commission for the city of Kingman. Call to order.
Chairman Kirkham is excused from this meeting.
Okay.
Vice Chair Sixta,
Here.
Commissioner Lesueur,
Here.
Commissioner Mendola, Commissioner Fossen, Commissioner Sueya, Commissioner Hinckley. Commissioner Mendola, I do see you've arrived. Do you hear me?
I'm here. Yes, I hear you.
Thank you.
Still don't think we have a quorum.
No, we do not.
Well, without everybody here, I mean, how long do you want to wait?
Hey, Deborah, did you ever hear if Jim Hinckley was going to plan attending from the powerhouse?
Was I supposed to hear from him?
You mentioned you'd reach out to him and let him know that he could attend here at our kind of agenda setting meeting, but I was out last week. Otherwise, I'd have sent him a note. I kind of dropped it in my
sent him
mind
an
until
email.
now.
I didn't hear anything, so
Okay.
I didn't follow up. I apologize for
No,
that.
that's okay. I should have as well. So
I should have. So without a quorum, we can't really have a meeting.
Do you want to wait for maybe a couple more minutes?
Couple more.
Okay.
See if somebody comes on. Where are the new people? Did they respond to your invitation?
No one responded. That's why I resent it out.
I'm sorry, I didn't respond either until today. I went,
Okay.
oh, I was supposed to say yes, I'm coming. Oh, darn it.
That's okay. I don't see anyone waiting
oh, okay. Never mind.
in the waiting room either.
You know, actually, I messengered Jim.
It looks like Becky's trying to get Rennie on.
Okay.
Let me just send her the link again.
Can you do something with him? Just close the door, babe. Just close the door. Thank you. Well, what's the weather like in Kingman right now? Is it hot?
Where are you?
We've got some electric vehicles that have been coming in the powerhouse, so I've been in and out all morning.
Cool.
Not too bad, probably upper 80s. It might be a little warmer now, but not too bad.
That's not bad. That's what we are right here. I'm in Orange County.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, happy first day of fall.
I know.
Yeah.
We're celebrating that lots.
Looks like Commissioner Fossen is logging in right now.
Great.
Okay, Commissioner Fossin, are you here?
Yeah, he's here.
Yes.
We have a quorum.
Okay, great. Did you finish the call to order? Or we'll do that again.
Absolutely. Chairman Kirkham is excused from attending. Vice Chair Sixta,
Here.
Commissioner Lesueur,
Here.
Commissioner Mandola,
Here.
Commissioner Fossin,
Here.
Commissioner Sawaya, Commissioner Hinckley. Okay, thank you.
Now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Correct?
That is correct.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
America
to the
and to
republic
the republic for which
for which
it
it stands,
one nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice for
justice for all.
Now we'll have the approval of minutes. I have. Would someone like to approve the minutes?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve. This is Steve.
I second. This is Mary.
Okay. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
None. Okay, next we have no public comments, so reports. The COVID-19 Business Recovery Program. Josh, is that you?
Yes, that is me.
You go.
Okay, sorry, Sylvia had a family emergency and she couldn't be here. Otherwise, we were going to present this together. So I may be missing some components.
That's okay.
If there are questions that I can answer, we can compile those and Sylvia can get back with you on those later.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one that I'd like to report on is the Facebook marketing grant. And in your packets, you should have the guidelines for, Ray, can you hear okay?
I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should have the guidelines for the program. I gave a brief
Okay.
overview on it last time, so just an update. We have had one campaign launched with it, and we've also got a second inquiry, and we will be working with that individual to set up their campaign shortly. One thing that we're trying to do with this is utilize Facebook's pixels and all of their analytics and set it up so that the business that's using it, we don't want to just give them the marketing. And of course, that's marketing that's going to bring people into Kingman and increase their business as well as others. But we want to use it as a tool to illustrate and show them how to do it themselves. So in the future, they've got the tools and the knowledge and the background on how to set up a marketing campaign with Facebook.
Oh,
Any
cool.
questions on that program?
Any questions, commissioners? Tourism report from Josh as
Oh,
well.
I'm still, sorry, I've still got several other
Oh, I'm
recovery
sorry.
programs.
Sorry.
We're working with the Chamber of Commerce to launch a shop local program. This is a program that, and the kind of the agreement which lays out how the program works is included in your packet. What we've done is we've set up a goal to get people to shop locally to the businesses that have been affected by COVID-19 restrictions and the lack of shoppers, as well as give the chamber a tool, an opportunity to go out and reach out to businesses and hopefully build their membership to make a stronger chamber. What this program consists of are 9 weeks of package giveaways. The packages are gift cards and items that are purchased from local businesses that have been affected by COVID-19. And the city is sponsoring with the funds, but the chamber is doing the lead work and going out and meeting and buying those gift cards. Then once a week, they would do a drawing, and they would draw a winner from each one of those packages and put that up on the website, put it on social media to hopefully drive more people into the program. Each package would be approximately $500 or $250 in value. And then the final package would be you would all purchases made on Small Business Saturday, right after Black Friday, would be eligible into that package. That'd be the final week, and then that grand prize would be $500. This is basically for locally owned or independently owned businesses, brick and mortars that are have a city license that are located within the city limits. So it's not open to Walgreens and Walmart, that kind of thing, but the smaller businesses, any of them that have been affected by COVID-19. And we're hoping that this is kind of more of an old-fashioned kind of shop local program. So we've got several different components, but we didn't want to just leave this one out. We thought it'd be a good tool for the chamber to reach out and meet with businesses, so that if we don't have a chance to go out and meet with all of them on our end, at least the chamber's going out and they're getting someone coming in and walking in and saying hi and utilizing the program to the benefit of the businesses. Any questions on that one?
Sounds good.
Okay. The third local recovery program that we organized is a membership subsidies to Local First Arizona. So Local First Arizona is a nonprofit that's organized to help with the education and operation, consulting, and different drives to drive business in Arizona to Arizona-owned businesses. And what we're doing with this one is, because we're a rural community, all businesses that would apply for a membership get a 20% discount. So we are taking and we're covering the other 80% for businesses that are 10 employees or less, to try to bring more of these membership benefits to Kingman businesses. One of the big ones that we're looking at here is they are developing an online shopping platform so that businesses in Arizona can post their products online, up to, I think, 10 or 12 products. They're still working out all the details. And the credit card processing, all of that would be handled through Local First Arizona, so they don't have to worry about setting up an additional merchant account, all of that. But it gives an opportunity for people to have their products posted up online for people to buy outside of Kingman, to hopefully drive business and exports from the Kingman area. We put basically $8,000 into that. Our goal is to have 75 plus members added into the Kingman area, into Local First Arizona, so we get a better representation. There's about 3,000 members to get all together in the state that are members of Local First Arizona, but in Kingman, I think there's like 7 or 8. So we think this will bring more of their benefits to Kingman that are currently we're really not receiving. Any questions on that one?
No, that's great.
Oh, yeah, just one question. Is that for the first year? So that we
Correct.
get okay, so you always get the 20% discount.
You always get the 20% discount because Kingman is a rural community. So that just helps us, because we're not paying, it lets us extend that benefit to more businesses. So the normal fee, for instance, for a business that is 1 to 5 is 100, or 6 to 10 is 199. So that subsidizes and so the 199 rate for us is 159.20. So that gives us the ability to cover, we're thinking about 75 businesses. There's going to be a mix of those smaller ones and larger ones. But for instance, let's say a business comes in, they want to participate and they have more than 10 employees, they have 20 or 30. We would still subsidize up to that 159.20, and they'd need to come up with the rest. But it is not for membership renewals. It is only for new membership, and it is only for businesses that have been affected by COVID-19. So they have to fit some criteria with the city, have a city business license, be affected by the restrictions or the reduction in traffic from COVID-19. And the Local First also has some things. So they can't be a franchise, they can't be a corporate, they've got to be locally owned small business.
And that was that 199 and 100. That's monthly or annually?
Annual.
Oh, okay,
annual membership.
cool.
Yeah, so
Okay,
this would be whatever month they join in, it would be 12 months from that point
perfect.
that would be covered with that membership rate.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
I have a question, but I just have a comment.
Yes.
That Local First Arizona is paid by the state through the WIOA funding by DES to do 20 projects with rural Arizona workforce areas. And Kingman has, we have requested for 3. One would be the advanced manufacturing training facility out at the Airport Industrial Park. We've asked for them to help us develop a training pathway for nursing to build on the Trevor Stokes report that he did for the city of Kingman. So it'd be a nursing career pathway. And the other one was opioid epidemic response at the highest level within the healthcare sector. And they had partnered with Arizona Pipeline. Stacy Faulkner had taken the lead on those projects. And now she's resigned to take a position with the state of Arizona with DES. So I'm not sure where they are, but just a comment of
Okay.
additional information.
Thank you,
Thank
Commissioner
you.
Noah. Maybe this will give them extra incentive to work with us on some of those projects then, if we
Yeah,
gain membership
hopefully.
here. Another one that we are working on, and this is initially going to be part of our Arizona Marketing Cooperative, Rural Marketing Cooperative, but it's with an app run by Hound. This is based out of, I think, Mesa. This is sort of similar to Groupon, but it's not a discount-based app. It is a deal or a value-added app. There's approximately 1 million people down the Phoenix area that have downloaded this app, as well as in other places, but we're just looking at regional potential gain. What this would do is this would allow the business in Kingman to offer their services or products via the app at value added or small discounted rates. So it could be you go to a restaurant and, you know, if you order a meal, you get a drink with it. So there's your value added, or you get 10% off, something like that. And then by doing that, the person, so there's no additional cost to the person. The business would usually have a small fee that would go along with that referral of business. And this program allows the city to pick up that fee. So for the initial 10,000, it would be under the co-op. So the city would put 5,000 in to cover those fees, and then the state of Arizona would put 5,000 in to cover those fees. And if we find that it's a hugely successful program and that it is driving business and sales in Kingman, then we can use more of our funds in the recovery program to load and refill that so that we can continue the program going. It's already been run in the city of Tempe, and they had a really successful program where they were, I think that they had put in $25,000 and, or I'm sorry, $40,000, and 25% of it had went in, and I don't remember the numbers now. I should have included them in my notes here, but they had over $100,000 in business activity that had taken place because of the program. So that we know that it's been successful in other communities, and the state of Arizona thinks that this is going to be a successful thing we can utilize throughout the whole state. So it's something that we are incorporating to Kingman, and we should be launching that in October sometime. We've already sent down business contacts, and we've got the forms. We're just waiting on Arizona Office of Tourism to launch the co-op program so that we can sign on the dotted line and get that program going. And I think that there's in your packet, there's also kind of a description and talking notes. That's something that we'd use with the businesses to help them sign up. Hound will be contacting businesses in Kingman though to invite them into the program. So if you hear anyone that asks about it or is talking about it, be sure to let them know. There is no cost for them to join. This is simply going to be a way to create awareness about their products and services and get it out for people to use. So the only cost really is if they are adding that value added or that small discount, then they're giving that 10% discount or that free soda. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna, yeah, I just had a question about it. How are they how is Hound generating downloads? They must have some type of outbound marketing of their app. Do they, because like with Groupon and Living Social and all those platforms, they always had a very large email campaign that they run to try to generate downloads. They did a lot of social media advertising. So do they have like an outlined
I know social
marketing
media was a big
strategy?
part of it, in a social media push, and I don't remember all of the specifics. I was out last
Yeah.
week. I'm sorry. So there's a
That's
few of the
okay.
things that I don't recall on it, but they do have a pretty good campaign for how to get out and market out and research. And a big part of it is, I think one of the things that they're looking at and that we're hoping to see with, especially with travelers right now, is they already have a huge base of users down in the valley. And so that's
Mhm.
an immediate group that we could reach out to. And so they'll be just like if you're on Yelp and you're traveling through or in a new town, and it'll say, hey, have you checked out this place? You'll get the same kind of notifications if you have your app downloaded on your phone from
Right.
Hound to let you know what things are available. And so if people are driving through, they're going to Vegas, or they're here on business, or coming through, or they're maybe I don't know how far out the radius is that they would put in notifications, but it might get people to stick around here a little bit longer because they'll get notifications about things that are available.
Yeah, and you mentioned the million downloads. It was out of the Mesa. Did you say Mesa, Phoenix area,
Out of
or
the greater Phoenix area. So
Greater
yeah, out
Phoenix?
of like, it's almost
Yeah.
1 in 5
And
people
is
down there have it.
Hound, is that like an Arizona app-based company, or is it national? Do they do this per state?
They don't do it per state, so it is national. It's based in Arizona, and I think this is where they're
Okay.
branching out of.
Okay. Cool. All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
Mhm. And then C-Source is another one that we were working on. So C-Source is it's a program that identifies and targets mobile advertiser ideas with digital advertising, including media types such as display, native, video, radio, connected TV. The data collection is occurring in real time, and that information is being updated. So we'll have a Tableau platform that we can go in and we can see the mobile data and where people are coming in from. And then what we do is we use this information to create target markets and lookalike markets. So one of the things that we're developing right now is a kind of geo mapping locations that are similar to Kingman or have attractions and things that would be of similar interest to Kingman, so that we can find out who's going there and then try and build campaigns that are based on what those people look like, trying to market them to come and experience the same things we have here, whether it's mountain biking trails, Route 66 experiences, camping, or hunting, in this area. So it's a real targeted app where we can build campaigns that are specific to people with their general interests. And we can also expand that out to hitting people that are coming in to the Las Vegas area or LAX that are maybe looking at going to the Grand Canyon, and then retarget to those people and show them display advertising about, maybe suggesting a Route 66 road trip to the Grand Canyon and incorporating Kingman into that. So it's a real powerful tool. This is something that's all new to us, not something that we would have had available, except that we created this program. We have some funding to try a brand new tool, and I think we're gonna find it's gonna be pretty versatile and pretty successful. And as we launch that and get into it, I'll keep updating you. One thing though is, if you can think or do think of any sort of experiences that are regionally, so within about 300 miles of us, similar to something that we have here, please let me know so that we can geo map that and include that as one of our destination points that we're watching. Actually, I would like to show you, just for an instance, let me pull up our mapping and I'll share screen so you have some kind of idea of what I'm looking at. Okay, is it sharing? No, I guess not yet.
Coming.
Okay, so these were created polygons in Kingman to show where we're trying to track where people are visiting in from. So for instance, This larger polygon is showing the historic downtown area, not including the sidewalks. We don't want to get pass through traffic. We really want to get the traffic that's going into those shops or those restaurants going down Beale Street, because those are experiential travelers. And then individually, you can see the polygons that are outlined inside that, as well as some that are outside of it. Those are our local dining. That's going to be our local flavor, local flair. And so we're tracking those individuals. We're also tracking people that are coming to our historic sites, such as the park, the powerhouse, the museums downtown. And then we're also looking at who is going into the softball tournaments. So we're watching what's going on at Southside Park, as well as what's going on at Centennial Park. We can look at who's coming into the golf course, who's hitting our different hiking trails. And so this is one aspect of the program. One thing this is telling us because we're going to get 2 years of historic data, trying to figure out, who was coming in, where they were coming from, and how we can retarget to those individuals, as well as Wall Mountain Park. We're getting the historic drives down on historic Route 66. We're getting the wineries, or I'm sorry, that's the Motorsports Park, so we can get dirt tracking the wineries. So we're trying to figure out who is coming here. And then beyond that, now we're trying to figure out, okay, who can we market to let them know about what we have? So over here, we've got Jerome, the ride down to there. Maybe we can reach out to those motorcyclists and let them know about the rides that we have up at Oatman Highway, Walpine Mountain Park, also at Vulture Mine Road, motorcycle driving. If we're trying to reach out to people that are interested in Route 66 attractions, and I thought I had this one added in. Let's see here. Which are local flavors, individuals. Okay, yeah. So we got Stand on the Corner Park in Winslow, Arizona. Try and reach out to find out who's going there and build a lookalike market, because this is a Route 66 attraction that's far enough away from us that they may have been there but not been over to experience what we are. And of course, Grand Canyon West, this would be experiencing, or people that may be going to Grand Canyon West, but they're staying in Las Vegas. They're not coming into Kingman. So we can find those markets and let them know that they can, come and stay in Kingman and visit those things. So those are some of the things that we're trying to look at right now, is those other areas where we know they're going, but maybe they're not coming here, but they might enjoy and want to experience what we have here, and reach out to those folks so that we can build those campaigns and hopefully drive more traffic into Kingman. Any questions with that?
Yeah. How is it capturing data? Where's the data because you have I see geo fence it off, but what is it pulling data from?
So I don't know which apps that they pull from, but it's apps that will ping within those geofenced areas, and then we'll have an idea of what people are going there. So obviously it's got to have enough of a grouping that they can get us aggregate information. It's not going to let us know if there's only 10 people going, who those 10 people are. It can't do that for security and privacy reasons. But if we can hit areas, so for instance, some of these things we have multiple grouped into one point of interest so that we can aggregate all of the data together. The wineries, there's just not enough traffic out there to track that on its own, because we really want to look at seasons, not just from the whole year, who came through. We really want to be able to narrow it down to who came through in the fall, who came through in the summer, maybe who came through on a specific date or weekend. So all of that is going to be compiled by whoever's cell phones pinged in those areas. And they've got a proprietary list of those apps that they have, that they bought that data from. We're also going to be getting some MasterCard credit card spending information through the same program. So it's going to be a pretty powerful tool. And at this point, I just don't even know all of the specifics and all of the capabilities that we have, but we are trying to launch it. And the sooner we can get these points of interest put together, the sooner we'll be able to launch those programs.
And it's called C Source. Is it just like the letter C?
SEESOURCE.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, thank you.
You bet. And the last one that I have to report on, and let me just go ahead and stop this, is we're working with the Public Works Department and CART to develop some advertising programs to put ads on the windows of carts going through the city. Most of the windows that we're looking at are 3x3, I think is the ad size that we'd be looking at. And Parks, or the Public Works Department has the ability to create those vinyls that go on the windows in-house. So basically what we're looking at is creating a program where we can cover our costs, our labor and materials costs, and that would be all that we would charge to the business, whichever ones we include as eligible in the program, to have their ad go up. And that ad would either be up for 6 months or 3 months. And at that point, if they wanted to carry it on, then they'd pay the regular advertising fee, which is substantially more. But this would give a good opportunity for businesses to get some inexpensive marketing out on the streets of Kingman. And I'll have more information on that as we get that developed, but that's still under development. That's all I have for the recovery programs.
Wow, thank you, Josh. That's extensive. Any questions for Josh? Thank you, Josh. How about tourism report? That's you too?
Yes, okay. Okay, our operations continue to be Tuesday through Saturday. We are in the process of hiring 2 new part-time positions right now. Actually went through brought in our first person today. They go through orientation tomorrow. I do have another person that's out for medical leave. I don't know when that person is returning. Our end goal is to open up a 6th day of the week. Because of our budget with janitorial expenses, I don't think we're going to be able to add on a 7th day this year. That's going to be something that we have to add on in the future. Although with our traffic, I wouldn't think it's really worth it right now. But what we're looking at, we were trying to figure out if Monday or Sunday would be a better day to open. And currently we've been watching surveillance footage at the front of the building, and we're seeing about 20% more people coming in up to the front, and about not quite as many, but more cars that are coming on Monday than Sunday. So
Yeah.
we're looking at adding Monday into the mix in October at some time. I don't have an update on our sales just yet, but I know that our traffic has been down to about 15% of what it was this time last year. So for the months of July and August, we're having about 130 people a day on average, versus about 900 people a day on average in July and August last year. Hotel occupancy is averaging for the month of August, the latest monthly report, it was 66.4%. That compares to 69.7 in 2009. So again, 66.4 compared to 69.7. Combined with the RevPAR, the revenue per available room, which is also down a little bit. They're not charging as much per rooms, trying to get more people in. The projected revenues for the month of August would be down about 13.5%. But that compares to about 40-50% down in other communities. We're seeing a continuance of people coming in on Interstate 40 and truckers, and also softball tournaments are really the driving force for what's driving room sale growth right now. For instance, let me just look at the weekly trend for the last report. In Friday and Saturday, this is the 11th and 12th of September. It's the latest report that I have available. We had occupancy of 82 and 87%, or I'm sorry, 77. I was reading the average daily rate. It was 82 and $87. 80 or 78 and 86%. That's actually about a 2% increase over 2019 on the weekends. So during the weekdays, we did see a decrease of 32%, 15%, 18%, 16%. But then on the weekends, we're seeing an increase. In fact, if I look at the weekend before, for September 4, 5, and 6, we had an increase of 29, 36, and 29%. So we had a huge increase in our occupancy, and not only in occupancy, but average daily rates. So instead of it being $75, they were charging $96. And all of that is increasing our revenue by quite a bit. So our softball tournaments coming in on the weekends are a big push to bringing people in. We're really excited that the Parks Department is able to create an atmosphere where people are able to spread around the diamonds. They've taken out the the bleachers so that people spread out and they're watching the games, and they're able to accommodate them everywhere throughout the parks. One thing though is I did get a note from our Parks Department that the tournament we have coming up this weekend, that's September 25th, 6th, and 7th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is going to be the largest tournament Kingman has ever hosted in our history. They're going to be utilizing both parks. They're anticipating 90 to 100 teams. That's up to 1,500 players. This is a senior tournament, so it's 45 and older, which means that likely they're not bringing families, but they would be bringing spouses. So we could see upwards of 3,000 additional people here this weekend. And we all know, we think that's going to be good for our hotels and our restaurants. The one thing he was saying is we need to try to figure out some way to communicate to our citizens that, this is driving the economy without freaking people out. So if you can help us in with that message, anyone talks to you about it, say, well, they're doing things to make social distancing possible. This is bringing in economic value, and it's not crowds of people all in one spot. It's bringing people to the restaurants. It's creating jobs. It's keeping our economies going. That's the message that we're trying to send.
Quick question about that. How did we get this tournament here?
Yeah.
Was this an outbound or an inbound marketing?
So it's a little bit of both, I think. And then Ryan would really be the one to talk to about this one. I think this is the one that we were going to bring in about 2 years ago. If you remember, we had one of our wells go down and we had to stop watering some of the fields. We were going to bring in one leg of a senior tournament at that time. And what they do is they do some in Kingman, they do some in Bullhead, they do some in, I think it was in Nevada. Anyways, what they do is they can't host everyone in one community. There's just too many teams. Overall, this tournament has 500 teams, but we just host one piece of it. And I think this is that same one. So Ryan and we worked up a package. This is Ryan. I other than helping him with it, this is really his brainchild, but his whole thing has been about trying to bring in tournaments. So I think this is the same one that's bringing back in. But what happened was there's tournaments that cannot take place in Nevada and California because of COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
And so we are making an opportunity for them to continue having their tournaments by bringing it to Kingman. And I think that when we hosted several in April and May, it really created awareness. And so now there's more tournament coordinators that have been contacting Ryan, and we've been working together to try to put together some kind of package thing, because we think that if we can bring him in and show him that we're able to accommodate, we're able to adjust our fields, we're able to keep them clean, we have nice fields, we have good infrastructure for hosting the tournaments, that even when COVID is lifted, or after this pandemic, they'll still come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that's a big driver down in Bullhead, because I've been on the board for the Chamber of Commerce down there for years. And so a lot of the meetings that we have are discussing the value per team, because I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's like per family that comes for a team. I think it's like $680 in regional impact per family. So when you have a full team, you have, 20 families, but I guess, this is an older one. So maybe instead of a family of 4, it might be just a family of 2, but it would be interesting to kind of see those numbers. So, and then also, really work that into the mix of a lot of our economic development strategy is kind of, although we do have a great appeal for Route 66 and international tourism and domestic tourism, I think driving the climate-based activities for organizations such as this will be something that we definitely should, make sure that we're capturing all of the contact points for every single team, every single operator of the team, whoever is in charge of actually scheduling it, and making sure that, kind of going back to our last meeting, that we have follow-up sequences that are going out as reminders and and hoteliers and restaurants knowing when these are coming into town. I know that that was a big problem in Bullhead. There was a couple large tournaments where the restaurants weren't prepared because they didn't know how many people were going to show up because nobody let them know. And all of a sudden you have Buffalo Wild Wings that are sold out of wings type thing that happened. And so I think that this is a great opportunity. You know, a first impression is extremely important for these guys as they reschedule later on appointments. Tournaments. So, but I think having somebody whose job it is, whether it's Ryan or in tandem with you, Josh, or someone from tourism, to make sure that when they arrive, that we're getting all of their contact information, that and that we have a sequence that we are going to send them out follow-ups so that they're available. And then also making sure, and I know Ryan was really good at this when I was doing operational stuff at the Ramada. I remember him contacting the hotel when they knew that there was a tournament coming in. So I think that just having that coordinated effort, certainly right now, because the restaurants are all a little scared about ordering food. You know, they're not sure exactly how much to have on hand due to waste. I think this would be really critical to use that type of CRM idea of having it all organized and having a sequence set up so that when they come in, that we have a follow-up process that happens as well. So
I know Ryan is collecting those contacts with the tournament coordinators. I don't know if it's going beyond that or if we have really a system to set that up at the moment, but that is one of the data points that we're collecting with C-Source to figure out where people are coming from. So at least we don't have direct contact info. We've got a good idea of what demographics are coming in.
Yeah, awesome. Cool, thank you.
And the only other thing I have is, oh no, I have a couple things. So we have 7 electric vehicles that have been arriving this morning. We're putting those pretty much out in the parking lot. I think we're bringing at least 1 and maybe 2 to the powerhouse, but we're quickly, as you know, running out of space. So the Route 66 drive-through, Shield, just want to give you an update on that. We do have a local electrician that's been running the electrical access from our other monument sign under the drive to the location where that shield's going to be installed, so that we've got that set in advance. We're still waiting on a few of the specifics when it comes to bollards, and the height bar with the shield before we go to the next step with that. And then we'll be talking more with community development, that's the planning and zoning, so that we can make sure that we've got everything according to their specs before we send that out to bid. But that process is still moving along. And then our Arizona Office of Tourism Marketing Cooperative. So this is the buy-in that we do with the Arizona State, where they cover half and we cover half. I am still waiting on word about what we've been approved for, but we did apply for $49,627 or $49,627 of marketing buy-in. So that means it's roughly $100,000 of buy-in altogether, because the 49 from us and the 49 from the Arizona Office of Tourism. 21,000 of that is with digital media specifically. Another 10,500 is with print media. 2,500 is with a billboard, and then 15,000 is with other offerings, which includes Hound, includes some graphic design services, and some TV display. So we've got and a Go West Summit conference attendance registration. So that's what our full marketing for the Arizona Office of Tourism Cooperative, which is about 80% of our marketing, is tied up into. And that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for Josh? So I have a question. 500 teams, each team has 12 players. And each player has a spouse or significant other. And California and Nevada are not allowing them to play ball.
Right. So it's all together about 500 teams, but we're doing one leg of it. So we're doing, it'll be about 90 to 100 teams that are in the Kingman one. So I think Bullhead's hosting some, we're hosting some. I think it's Wickenburg that's hosting some.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. They're
all
not
right.
allowed to be where they would normally be. So.
Right. I wasn't aware that California was not allowing softball at all. Huh. No? Okay.
I guess
Uh,
with tournaments anyways.
Any tournaments? Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
And moving on to the airport report. Thanks, Josh. That was great.
Thank you.
Is Steve Johnson with us, or are we gonna table
here.
airport report? There you are.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm here.
Steve.
Hello there. So I'll try to keep this brief. In regards to grants, I think this has been relayed before, but we're up for about $5.1 million. 500,000 of that's the master plan. We're finishing that up as we speak. 3.1, almost and a half million will be for the runway 321. Design is done on that. Construction starts on October 12th. 200,000 for design on taxiway Bravo. That goes to a 30% review to ADOT probably this week. $69,000, which is part of the CARES Act grant. That's going to be a fence relocation, so we can accommodate additional airliners for storage. 1.3, almost 1.4 million for construction of taxiway Bravo. That has gone to Straight Transportation Board. As of last week, we'll be getting grant paperwork for that this week or next. And then we were offered 182,000 for an airfield drainage study from FAA. I expect the grant paperwork to come in October, November for that. We had Congressman Gosar and his staff here. They were visiting Saturday. They spent an hour and a half with us. We briefed them on what's going on here at the airport and gave them an airfield tour, and basically told them we really appreciate all their efforts in regards to grants and everything for us. The draw site ramp project, 2 remediation plans are in process on that. They're being drawn up. Once we've reviewed those, we will send those off to DOJ for a review, and then we'll get into negotiations on that. The 1,800-acre land release project, we had a telecommunications meeting with our project team last week. Submitted 3 bits of paperwork to the FAA for review, and we'll start our first ongoing monthly meetings on the telephone or via Zoom on October 12th for that. We'll be doing that each month after that. We have 4 aircraft storage groups that are using the airport at present. 50 new aircraft as of about 2 months ago, which is a plus for our budget. We continue to reach out to aircraft storage entities and attempt to convince them to bring their airplanes here. Just as a little bit of information, the money that Congress gave out to the airlines runs out, I believe, the end of this month. And a number of airlines basically just parked the airplanes wherever they were at. In many instances, they're paying $1,000 a month for storage of each airplane. We only charge $230 a month for storage of airplanes. So needless to say, once the money runs out, hopefully we'll start to see an increase in airplanes parked out here on a temporary basis anyway. The terminal fencing out here, for any of you who've been to the cafe, has been removed. City crews are going to be surveying with the next 2 weeks. Then we'll be designing, city engineering will be designing drainage out there, rockscape, and some safety improvements. We're not going to do the grass again because it's just a maintenance nightmare. Very costly, and with the crabgrass that's out there, we'd have to dig down 6 feet and basically nuke everything there to keep that stuff from coming back. We continue to mow hundreds of acres out here, spray weeds. Almost all of our tumbleweeds are gone, which used to be an issue here prior to the city taking over. We're working with the Kingman Aviation Heritage Group on a temporary lease for storage of aircraft for a future air museum here. We continue to have parties that show interest in building hangars out here in the future. Some of those construction projects I mentioned tie back to that. And then ADOT will be interviewing airports in the coming months regarding development of an airport economic brochure. They did this years ago, bear with me, and they basically, at their cost, produced these brochures. They sent them to us for review, and they can be given out to prospective tenants, businesses, what have you. And I think it's been about 5 or 6 years since they've gone through that effort. And with that, any questions?
Any questions for Steve? I have one question. So who gave us $5.1 million? Who was it?
Actually, it's a combination of folks, but the majority of it's FAA, Federal Aviation
And
Administration.
it's for the runways, right?
For the runways, and actually on the taxiway, we're up for at least 1.3, and with another grant they gave us, it'll be 1.5 million from ADOT. And right now we're on their CIP for another 1.2 million in 2022, if their aviation fund isn't ready.
So are we waiting on the FAA to release the additional 1,800 acres? Is that done by them, by the feds?
It is, and it's a god-awful stinking complex process.
Awful.
Being very humble about that.
Thank you.
It involves an environmental assessment, so it's not an EIR, but it's one step below that. So that's a daunting process. Then once that's done and FAA buys into it, we end up having to advertise on the Federal Register for 30 days. So everybody that wants to make a comment can. We address those and then go to the FAA. They permit us to give us the option to basically either lease or sell land out there. Right now, it looks like that process will probably take, barring any unforeseen things that pop up, we'll be working at this until April of next year.
Okay.
Steve, I did have a question.
Certainly.
This is Rennie. How many aircraft do you think you can actually put out there as storage? Say like 727s.
Well, actually, good question. As far as 727s, we don't have the weight capacity on our taxiways or our runways to handle those. But as far as the airplanes you see out here, the Delta airplanes and United airplanes, those are Embraers or RJs, regional jets. Those we can probably accommodate close to 500. If we're talking about 737s or A320s, which are a step up size-wise, we can probably do about 450 worth of those. And this project that we're going to be doing will get us up to a strength coefficient on a daily basis of about 135,000 pounds, repeated landings and takeoffs. And that's right in the range of 737s to A320s. So hopefully we will start to get some of those here, as well as the regional jets.
And that's where the airfield extension comes in handy.
And in the master plan, it does show a runway extension. This project we're going to start in October. That's just an overlay to get the strength back up. Down the road, we can do an extension, but what will drive that is if we attract airplanes and they base here, even for a period of time, all of a sudden that gives us the horsepower with the FAA to come back and basically say, yeah, we need a runway extension within, guys. Could you buy some property for us and the strength for us? So,
That'd be great.
Sounds great. Thank you.
certainly.
Does anybody else have any questions for Steve on his?
Yeah, I had a kind of a question that's related to I-11. Is there any new recent information about when I-11 is projected to come through the area where it's going to impact the airport, where we can be approaching different types of vendors that'd be interested in that facility?
No, actually, that hasn't come. At least I'm not aware of any of that. That might be a Gary question or a Ben question.
Okay.
One of the dynamics that we're working with in the master plan is beyond the 1,800 acres, which is non-aviation property. which a lot of that's over by the Santa Fe interchange, not at it, but near it. The other aspect we have here is we've got 400 acres of flight line property we can develop. A lot of it's on that side of the airport. We still have some property on this side as well. And one of the things in the master plan, we put a placeholder in, and it's not exact, but we put a roadway coming in on that side of the airport from the Santa Fe interchange. Now, again, as they go through planning, all of that's going to morph. It's going to change. Things are going to move around. But that's one of the dynamics as well that I don't have any good handle on, is that where are we at on the Santa Fe interchange? And then when will the beginning of infrastructure start to come down from the interchange itself towards the airport? One of the things I think you're all aware of as well is that I believe the 1,800 acres, and this is sort of putting the wagon before the horse, but nonetheless, I believe it's on the ballot for November 3rd or 4th for our citizens basically to vote. I gather anytime you're talking about a value of more than 1.5 million in that area over there, we'll get way beyond that, I suspect. We've got to take it to the voters. So that's on the ballot as well. So hopefully that will pass. We have that hurdle taken care of, and then we can get the EA and the federal oversight piece of this over with.
Yeah, thank you.
Certainly.
Anybody else? Okay, the next report is the industrial park. Steve, is that you?
No, that's going to be me.
Okay.
Bennett is out of the office today, but he did put together a report for me to share with all of you. So good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The city of Kingman was given the approval, the ED and the airport to have Facebook pages. And the economic development Facebook page is live and has gone live with posts. The airport Facebook page should be going live here next week. And we'll be keeping that up to date on a daily basis with information happening at the airport. Next, the industrial park, the road paving grant, the plans are 90% complete. And we're waiting to hear back from Mojave County for their review and comments. Steve touched on this, the 1,800 land release. Right now, the Chamber of Commerce and Mojave County Manufacturing Association, they have both voted through their boards to put together pro-favor arguments in support of the voters approving the 1,800 acre land release, and they are allocating $2,500 for this campaign. Next, I have the MCC Manufacturing Training Center. So right now, this is in process. A lease negotiation is in process for a building. Hopefully we'll be hearing back regarding an agreement on that. And this will be a Mojave County Community College Manufacturing Training Center. Over the last month, Bennett and I have been working on a industrial park wage survey to gather information for businesses who are inquiring about moving out to our industrial park. And we finalized this wage survey, and the results were sent out to businesses the last week. The industrial park entryway cleanup has been done, it's completed. And if you haven't been out here, things are looking very nicely on the entryway. A lot of cleanup happened over the last couple of weeks with removal of dead trees, tumbleweeds, and weeds were removed. Lastly, I have an update on Shelves West expansion. They are a business out here, and they moved into, took over 100,000 square feet of the American Plastics Company building. And with the expansion of Shelves West, they're anticipating investing an additional $10.5 million into the area, and also hiring 20 more employees. over the next 6 months from Kingman. And that's what I have for the industrial park update.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any questions for Lisa? Okay, moving on to old business. Mary, welcome.
So the bicycle taxis, we did purchase 2 bicycle taxis, which are, if you imagine, it's like a rickshaw, only it'd be pulled by a bicycle. So it has room for 2 passengers. And the idea was that they could be used to in the evenings to transport people back and forth in old downtown, or also we could have like a tour, a sightseeing tour that could be run on a regular basis. The issue that's holding us up now is liability. We have our grant program, Arizona at Work grant program, could pay for an individual with entrepreneurial ideas who wanted to, they could gradually grow that into their own small business. But so far we haven't found a participant who's eligible or enrolled in our program who has those kind of employment goals. So we're thinking maybe we could partner with one of the downtown organizations where they could collect the fares and pay for liability insurance and any maintenance that might need to be done on the bicycle taxis. But we haven't been able to put that together either. So right now we're pretty much on hold until one of those 2 options comes through.
I might be able to help you with that. When we had the very first festival, the bike club that I was a member of wanted to do this very thing, and we just didn't have enough time to put it together. So why don't I approach Anna Shuffler or somebody like that and see if she'd be interested? Because a bunch of the bike club, Jamie Staley being one of them, Shirley Bauer, all of us were gonna, like, who's gonna drive people like a rickshaw, you know, and but the bike club. So we were all on board to do it. We just didn't have bikes, and now you have bikes and no drivers. So I'd be happy to contact Anna. It's just a text and send your information to her.
That'd be great. Yes.
I can do that, sort of. I need to remember to do it. I just, you know. Oh, Jim Hinckley sent me I'm quite sorry for missing the meeting. Up to us. Anyway, so I will do that for you. How's that?
That'd be perfect. Thanks.
Do you know Anna?
I don't think so.
Okay. I will get her your number.
Thank you.
Moving on to old business billboards with Josh. Is that you? Are you still there? Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to unmute it and slipping around there. So, so we have discussed the design we've got a kind of a marketing think tank committee that we're working on with several local marketing specialists or people that work in that field. Now, Commissioner LeSueur sits on that group, and we got some feedback to maybe look at trying to incorporate an image of someone on the hiking or biking trails that we have. I think that the feedback is that we could try to get an image in Kingman. So right now we're trying to work with a local photographer and our bicycling groups to set up and maybe do a photo shoot. So it's going to be a little bit set, maybe a few months down the road before we can get everything together for the billboard, just because it's within our economic advantage to try to set up multiple photo shoots and not just one. That costs quite a bit for one single photo shoot if we can do several different areas. So we're coming up with a list of shot locations that we'd like to have, maybe some different groups that we may need to set up to have, you know, some cyclists out there, some hikers, an area we can get some off-road, updated off-road imagery. So working with Wallify four-wheelers, so one of the four-wheel groups. So It's in development, but just let you know that we're wanting to make sure that we get it up correctly with the expense that we're putting into it, because we know it's going to be there for a little bit of time instead of putting it up and then, you know, having to redesign and reskin it a few months down the road.
Okay, what, I don't want to throw a wrench into anything, but this to me screams photo contest. That would be really cool. There's a lot of photographers in town. What do you think? I mean, I know I'm just hitting you with it, but that to me screams photo contest.
That's always something we can put out on our,
Yeah. Then they'd take the pictures themselves, like the ATVs, people would take their pictures, the horse people would take their pictures, the mountain bike, and then they could present them to this board or the committee that you're dealing with, and you could pick them, and their prize could be being on the billboard. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. We did something similar a few years ago at the Ramada. We did a Route 66 contest. And to be able to qualify, they had to first sign over the release for the usage of the image. Yeah. So, because really the idea was not only to create like a gallery in the facility, but it was also to generate images that we could use in marketing. So I think that would be a good idea if you and certainly if we can put out the categories that we're interested the most in, and then they just simply, maybe we create a little page on the tourism site that's just photo contest page, and they have to click a little thing that allows them to sign the release, and then they can upload their image directly or send a link to their image, or because one thing that we did have a problem with was upload sizes of certain photos when it's on a really good camera. But what we did for that is that we let everybody submit their low res images, and then when we started selecting winners, we would just reach back out to them and ask for them for their larger size file and figure out a way to get it. That's a great idea, because then tourism can continually use any of those other images that were submitted that may be not on the billboard, but they're and that'd be exciting for photographers out there too, and enthusiasts to know that their images are being used.
Yeah, I'd be excited. Yeah. And
is that something, Steve, you think we could incorporate and utilize social media platforms for people to submit images, and then of course we reach back out to the winners to get their updated or high res ones? Is this, so it's similar to something that we tried to do with our entry sign, and we had some measure of success with it. Would you want to set up maybe a subcommittee on this, or maybe if you have time, Steve, or anyone that's been involved in one of these, to kind of sit down and go over with us how to make this a successful sort of campaign?
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I don't know, maybe we could fold it into the other special committee, the billboard committee. That way there's not a whole new set of people, because the people on that, that group are actually all pretty knowledgeable with marketing and stuff like that. So I actually had a while back had sent Nikki Seeger's the ones that we had used at the Ramada as an example, because she wanted to use some Route 66 themed images. So, but yeah, no, I definitely could help, set those kind of guidelines and how we did it. So.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good idea, Deborah.
Thank you.
That's a good idea.
Yes. And Route 66 Festival.
So Mr. Hinckley and Kirkham met with myself and Natalie Tomaszewski. She's our social media person, but she was also involved with the Andy Divine Days Festival. And we discussed a new festival concept. Without either of them here, I don't really want to get into the details of what we're looking at, because part of the follow-up was on their part, and I don't know what correspondence they've had. But we are looking at the feasibility of coordinating with a local car club to organize an event in October of next year that would provide a new experience to event participants and spectators, something that's not been done before. I don't want to get into those until I know if, through their correspondence, that will be something that we can do. But that's where we're at. We think we have a good idea that would bring people to town.
Wonderful. That's exciting news. Thank you. Any questions for Josh on that? Steve? No one? Okay. So any announcements by commissioner members? None? Okay, then this meeting will be adjourned. And wow, it was really a great meeting, you guys. Thank you for letting me participate as vice chair. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Thank
Do we need
you.
I'll motion to adjourn just in case we need one.
Okay, just do it.
I second.
There we go.
There we go.
I'll third it and fourth it, so.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
So much.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.